Hello, fifth graders. Welcome to our technology class. This is week 29, so this is the week before we go on break. And so what we're going to do this week, we probably will have a little bit of a shorter class because we're just going to get into code.org. So there won't be any homework or any new assignments for over the break. But when we get back from the break, you need to be ready to start your coding. And so this week, what we're going to do is we're going to watch this video. It's just from the code.org. And then I'm going to go into code.org and just kind of go through what you can expect to be working on and learning about for coding. And we'll be working on this for the rest of the school year. So let me put on the video so we can get started.
I think 19th century was about the Industrial Revolution, about electricity, about disrupting the agricultural society and making it more advanced. The 20th century was about physics and engineering to do more things easier in our everyday life, from refrigerators to washing machines.
How convenient.
And the 21st century is definitely the digital age. It's the internet.
Even if you want to become a race car driver or play baseball or build a house, all of these things have been turned upside down by software.
The lettuce bot is a robot that can sense its environment. Every single hour, this lettuce bot is seeing 1.5 million plants, and it's taking individual action on those plants. We enable lettuce growers to have higher yields in their field by helping make it cheaper, by helping produce food in a more sustainable way. And that wasn't previously possible without computer science and technology.
I have a really fun job where we build Polyvore, which kind of combines all my favorite things, so programming as well as fashion and art and design and shopping. Half the products you use these days are software products that you play with on maybe your phone. And so if you want to build something cool, you need to know programming, right? And there's so many things that you can do with computer science. So if you just work backwards from the cool thing that you want to build and figure out what that is, a lot of times computer programming is part of that, right? So you should learn the skill.
It's really exciting right now. The technology that we're developing right now is going to be used by your doctor in the next decade. When you come into the office and you're sick, the doctor is going to be like, all right, spit in this cup. And I will put it into this magic machine, which is a sequencer. And in an hour, I can tell you what you have or what's wrong with you. So if we're looking for a new virus, for example, we'll download a database of all the viruses that are known. And we'll search for, our sequence of interest against a whole database of all viruses. So you still need somebody to analyze the data. The computer is not smart enough yet.
Our software helps people save energy and thereby reduce their carbon emissions. To date, we've saved over 8 terawatt hours, which is the equivalent of about 1.1 million cars on the road.
When you're forecasting the wind, there's so many different parameters that go into it. It would be impossible for a human to sit down and do all those calculations. We need a computer model in order to forecast it.
I write software which scans images, looking for bad images that we know are illegal. I work very closely with organizations like the National Center for Missing Children. I know that the work that we've done has impacted the life of people. And I feel very strongly about it because there's a lot of social problems right now that could really leverage the use of technology. It's a lot about empowering the people who are there helping the world by giving them the tools to be able to do better. That's something that we can do right now, and the tools available are huge.
The merging of art and technology is getting more and more significant now because computers and software are such an integral part of our lives day to day. People are realizing that it can be quite creative to take this medium of computers and create incredible works of art.
In Finding Nemo, when Crush and Squirt and all the friends are flying through the East Australian Current, you're seeing images of water flowing by, you're seeing the colors on the back of the turtle, you're seeing the sides of the fish. All of those things are generated through math and computer programs that we write that we then give to the artists, and they take that to create that final image and tweak it and make it look beautiful and look fun.
The crux of it is really about invention. It's about looking at the world and being dissatisfied with things and questioning everything.
I always felt like if I didn't learn how to program, it would be like not learning how to read. You know, the future would just be closed to me.
If you're in the coding profession, there's so many things that you can do, and you can pretty much pick and choose the course you want to be in.
I think that you can start something in your college dorm room, and you can have a set of people who haven't built a big company before come together and build something that 1 billion people use as part of their daily lives is just crazy to think about, right? It's humbling and it's amazing.
Really, it's about the chance to reinvent things and then see it out there in the world and see people using it and having fun or having a better life because of something that wasn't there before that you put in the world.
Okay, so that was our kind of like intro video to computer science. And so that's what we're going to be studying for the rest of the year. And this isn't new to you guys, because obviously we've been doing it since kindergarten. But, hopefully you guys all have a better idea now you're in 5th grade, what computer science is, right? That basically we are learning how to speak the language of computers in order to create things that can enrich and make our lives better and change the world, right? And if you guys are able to get a hold of these skills, you may not necessarily be the computer programmer, but you can maybe be somebody that's involved with creating apps or websites or code and products and things where you do have to be a part of that field. And so it can be a lot of fun. So what we're going to be doing, I'm going to go into 5th grade right now and show you guys I just want to go through the course. So we're going to be doing course F. This is the course for the 5th grade. It's brand new. It's actually, it just came out in 2020. So they revamped it a little bit. So it's different. So I'm just going to go through now some of the lessons just to give you an idea of what we'll be learning. And so what I'm going to be needing you guys to do is make sure that you have access to a device at home to complete these lessons. And I'll be going through every level on the video. So that way, if you do get stuck with the code, you can always go back to the video and pause it and take a look at the code and see, how you're supposed to do it. And you can also just try it on your own, because some of you guys, it may just come pretty easy and you understand the concepts. So lesson 1, we're learning about functions, and it's functions in Minecraft. Then in lesson 2, we're doing swimming fish with Sprite Lab. So we're going to learn how to create sprites and change their behaviors. So that'll be fun. In lesson 3, we're doing alien dance party with Sprite Lab. So we're going to be adding in some more sprites, which are characters, and making them dance. In lesson 4, we'll be drawing with loops. So remember, a loop is like using the repeat block, right? Where you do something over and over again. In lesson 5, we will be learning about nested loops. So it gets a little bit complicated, putting a loop inside of a loop inside of a loop. And you might remember that a little bit from last year. We probably are going to skip lesson 6 because we did enough digital citizenship. And then lesson 7, we'll learn about variables. So this will be an unplugged lesson, and we'll go through. And again, I'll probably have to send it to you through email since we're not together. In lesson 8, we'll be using variables to create and draw with the artist. Remember the artist feature in code.org where you can draw. In lesson 9, we'll be learning changing variables with B, so that'll be fun. And lesson 10, changing variables with artist. Then in lesson 11, we'll be learning about simulation. So this will be similar to the hour of code that we did with the outbreak simulator. This will be a little bit different, but That'll be fun. And then lesson 12, we're doing AI for oceans. Lesson 13, we're learning about the internet. So we probably will watch some videos about how the internet works. In lesson 14, we're learning about for loops and how to use those. Lesson 15, we'll be using it with the bees, for loops with the bees. Lesson 16, for loops with artist. Lesson 17, learning how to change behaviors in the Sprite Lab. Lesson 18, the virtual pet. So you get to have a little virtual pet. And then lesson 19 is the end of course project. So I really hope we can get through all of these. And honestly, I don't know if we will, because looking at the calendar, we really only have a certain amount of weeks, and I don't think it's 19 weeks. But what I'm going to try to do is see if some weeks we can combine some of the lessons. So that way we like maybe, I mean, I don't know. It's always just so hard. If you guys would actually do your work every week, we could get, like, I could do lesson 1 and 2, like in the first week, and then we could try to move a little bit faster. So we could get through a lot of it. But again, it's really going to depend on whether or not you're cooperating, because I know some of you guys don't do anything. Some of you do some stuff, but it's very sporadic. And some of you are amazing. You do your things every week. So it really is hard. I'm probably just going to have to see, you know, how you guys are working, and you know how quickly you're getting the code done, if you're keeping up with it, and then that'll kind of determine whether or not we get through the entire course. It would be a lot of fun if we did, because it's just so much fun, right, with the coding, and you can be actually creating things. So pretty much how you'll get graded this quarter is I can check in my teacher account whether or not you did the code, and it shows up. If you remember, these little circles turn green. So if you completed the whole lesson, it'll be all green and you'll get 100. So it can be really easy to get 100 every week. You just basically go in and do the code, and that's your assignment. There's not going to be any other assignments. So it's really just going to be strictly code this quarter. So I don't know. I really don't know what to say. Just keep up with it, you know, just make sure every week you go in and you do the code that you're supposed to do. Treat it like a game, because it is kind of like a game when you think about it, except you're the one making the game. You're adding the code, you're adding the sprites, you're making the behaviors, and you're putting it all together. So you're actually learning how people actually make games, because there's a lot more to making games than I think most people realize. It's actually very hard and it's complicated, and you have to be very smart and very patient and very persistent, and you have to persevere through mistakes. So hopefully that's what you guys are going to do, right? So what else do I want to mention? I don't know. That's about it. I didn't want to make this too long. It's our last week before the break. So there's no new assignments over the break, except to just make sure that you have a device to do this on. And I hope, I wonder if I did email out, if you remember, your code.org logins back in December when we did the hour of code. It would be great if you still had that. Otherwise, I guess I'm going to have to email the logins out again. So I don't know. I guess we'll figure it out when we get back from the break. All right, guys. So I'll see you in April. Bye.